murders every week. She's a detective with a crazy skill. Evidence vanishes, but it's a thrill. What she hides, no one can know, but somehow she cracks the code. Gina Foster-Telly. She's got a thing you can't tell me. In her own way, busts every plot, solving crimes with what she's got. Gina Foster-Telly. She's on the case again, with her nose to the ground, but her secret's not her nose, it's the book. She's renowned. Evidence in rear, criminals run in fear, but detective on the scene, solving every scheme. Gina Foster-Telly. She's got a thing you can't tell me. In her own way, busts every plot, solving crimes with what she's got. Gina Foster-Telly. She's got a thing you can't tell me. In her own way, busts every plot, solving crimes with what she's got. Gina's on the case again, with her nose to the ground, but her secret's not her nose, it's the butt. She's renowned. Evidence in her rear, criminals run in fear, but detective on the scene, solving every scheme. Gina Foster-Telly. She's got a thing you can't tell me. In her own way, busts every plot, solving crimes with what she's got. Gina Foster-Telly.
First I sip iced tea with lemon. They ask me like a secret gem. You know I want that yellow. Says so fresh, so cool, so rest. Next refill, here comes again. No question if I want my pen. No lemon inside, no reply. Is it a cruel game? Why? Lemon, please, every time. Lemon in that glass of mine, don't make me asking why. Just add that citrus lime. Lemon please, it's divine. Lemon with my endless time. I see the ice, no lemon slice. I feel like they forgot my vice. Do they forget or just ignore? Tell me what's behind this door. On that first pour I get a smile. Refreshing, taste linger a while, but every refill dull and bland. Won't they understand? Lemon please, every time. Lemon in that glass of mine, don't make me asking why. Just add that citrus lime. Lemon please, it's divine. Lemon with my endless time. Lemon please, it's divine. Lemon with my endless time.
Hi, this is Popeye from your favorite train wreck, and when I'm not busy loving the sound of my own smooth, sexy voice, I'm listening to FFOP radio. Sounds great, doesn't it? My voice, I mean. You're welcome.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the Hey everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Dave. This is FFOP Radio. It's Friday. If you're watching this right now, we've got a little show for you. Thanks for showing up. My co-host and producer, Chris, is over there off camera.
Yellow.
Something's going on with my mixer. There we go. Welcome to the show, everybody. Here we are. So this is going to be, I say this a lot, but it's a relatively short one.
It's going to be a short one, 2.5 hours later.
Well, because it's only 27 minutes of raw footage. So let's just unpack it. So the two gentlemen that you saw in the thumb card, that is Andrew and Levi Castro. So they're a couple of brothers. I don't know, man. How do you describe these two? Because they came from like a long history of abuse and like a horrible backstory, and like dude's face is covered in tattoos, and nobody covers their face in tattoos unless
there's something going on.
Like there's something going on. Like you want to be the world's most human cat, or you want to be a giant lizard, and those things you can kind of get, I guess.
Sure.
But a dude like Andrew didn't go like whole hog. He's not going to be like a giant cat or an elephant or whatever. He's just got enough face tattoos to make himself unemployable in almost all situations or whatever. And his brother Levi. So Levi's not in this interrogation footage at all. So just know he's an accomplice, and they're going to talk about him a lot. But these two knuckleheads, you know, like the most perverted folly à Dieu, they just collected a bunch of CP online. They got themselves a van. They got themselves a plan. But they were thwarted by these detectives, because what they were going to do was just like roll around the city and just snatch a kid off the street. And like when you're only, you know, sounding board, let me just pull up a little something for you guys. When you're only here are the two gentlemen in question. Here's Andrew, that there is Levi. But when either of these is your sounding board, right? Not going to work out.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah, what's up, Tony? So that's the thing.
That's rough.
What we're going to be seeing is this guy doing all the talking. You see, he's got a little, you know, sometimes he shaves the mustache. There's a lot of Andrew Castros out there, so just be careful. You're definitely looking for this guy right there. Get that out of there. But yeah, I don't know the ins and outs of this case, because it's one that I'm not like, again, there's only 27 minutes of the footage. Nobody's really covered this case super extensively, and it's one of those ones where I don't necessarily want to dig into it real deep because of, you know, like the stuff that's going on in it.
So, I mean, they'll probably talk about it, I'm assuming, but like this whole they were going to snatch a kid thing, was it to then do things CP related to it?
Obviously. Like they weren't going to snatch a kid and like whisk her off to Disneyland. This wasn't for a TikTok video. It wasn't like some dude like rolls up to like day laborers. He's like, hey, I need 3 of you. Come on. And instead of laying tile or brick, they go, oh, we're going to Disneyland. It wasn't going to be like that. A guy who looks like the man we just saw and is...
Well, I didn't know if there was anything deeper than like, because like they're getting a bunch of CP.
Again, just look at their faces. Look at their like the deadness in their eyes and the tattoos on the dude's face, and what I've already told you, and extrapolate. Like, do you think they were looking for stray kids? They're gonna start like a Finnegan or whatever style gang?
No, but I didn't get to finish.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Whatever the arc at the end of that rainbow is. It's not going to be probably what they were going to do. What do you think, though? Now I'm curious, because what else could there be?
Well, it reminded me, like some of the stuff reminded me of SVU, of course, where like there's that whole CP ring of people, and like they all like they're on like that big chat room, and they're like giving each other CP and stuff like that, like sending it and all that, and then like getting the kids and then distributing them out to people.
Yeah. That's exact. Well, I mean, they weren't a part of any ring. Like, look at these dudes. Like,
yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, online you'd act and look different probably than you would in person. So,
but Okay, maybe I'm getting unnecessarily offended at your over exuberance or evaluation of their mental processes, but no. They were two dudes hanging out, collecting CP. They bought a van so they could live out the fantasy of all the violent shit they saw on the TV screen part of their computer.
Got it.
They weren't like dude's face tattoos. Like he's not the muscle, and the dude with like the one eye that seems to be sliding off his face like a like a raw egg. Like he's the money and the brains guy. Like he's got all the contacts with like the worldwide dark web of like people who trade this shit. And they're just gonna find some person on. No.
Okay.
No, we don't cover masterminds, and even if we did, like. Whose mastermind plan is to get like an old Aerostar for $700 and just snatch a kid on the sidewalk? Yeah, real rings who are real put together, like the most organized of organized crime. Just like someone's holding money in their hand, they just snatch it and run back to their Ford Aerostar. And we go, God damn, that money stealing ring in that van. No, there's nothing like that.
Okay, let's go. There's no table in this room.
You don't need a table. But also a little backstory with the characters that are going to come into play. There's going to be a male and a female detective. And since our dude, Andrew here, is going to be very, very open about everything he's into, the female detective is going to come in and she's going to give off the impression of like the barking police dog on the leash trying to just latch onto his arm. Because she needs to slow down, in my opinion, a little bit and just let things happen organically because, like, they try to wrap it up a couple of times and it's just...
Well, because it's not like anyone's missing. Like, they have the time to be able to, like, pull
things out. Not only that, but, like, they have... It's not even a matter of time. It's not even like, let's do the read technique, eats a burger together, like, we've connected, now tell me your life story. He's just, like, pretty matter-of-fact about all this shit. And, you know, here we go.
You okay, bro? Yeah.
Bro. Face tattoos good, bro?
My partner, Megan. Yeah. She had long conversations with Levi.
She's very eager, so look out.
I'm sorry. Andrew. I'm Megan.
So there's our first mention of the brother Levi, so he's probably in another room. Yeah. This feels like a Corey Fitzwater, Dalton Aiken situation where we got Dalton being like, did somebody get killed? But you don't ever see Corey Fitzwaters, so I feel like Levi's is behind a wall somewhere.
The time is now 10:38 on December 19th, and my name is Investigator Rich Wasaki with the Will County State's Attorney's Office, and this is
Megan Brooks, and I'm with the Will County State's Attorney's Office.
So we already advised you of your rights back at the house, correct?
You remember?
Okay, I'm just going to advise you of them again.
We told you about them, right?
Well, okay. Understand your rights. You have the right
That's the anytime tape stops rolling and starts rolling, they go, okay, this will be the third time because the batteries fell out and then this tape snapped. So
one will be appointed for you before any questioning begins if you wish one. You understand that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone understands it, but I don't think they do because nobody uses it correctly.
And this is the second time I read that to you, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
That's cool.
So
dude.
Right now you're in custody at the Crystal Police Department, and you're in custody for the downloading and sharing.
That's right. They got him on the computer stuff first, and then they figured out like
the van.
There was a plan involved.
Probably in a Word document.
Like, what a fucking like. 'Cause that's the thing. Like this is one of those ones where. You know, the hypothetical idea of like crime prevention. You say, how many crimes are prevented? How many victims have been saved? Who knows, right? Because it's impossible to say. We can definitely say at least one child was saved here because he'll tell us. It's not a matter of like hypothetical people committing hypothetical crimes against somebody, but it was stopped because a dog barked, somebody looked the other way, or somebody saw the security light, and you go, whoo, like somebody is a little safer. Like at least one child was saved. So yeah, crime prevented. You know, good job, cops.
Bam.
Sharing, distributing child pornography. Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
We talked about you sharing the images that you were downloading online. And we went through all that on a recorded statement previously, right? Yeah.
I think he was doing this in a
The
LimeWire.
reason why I want to talk to you now, though, AJ, is is that Megan talked to Levi, and I talked to Levi. And there's some things that we need to discuss what happened between you guys. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah. He's one of those dudes, man. Like, his body language is like, I ain't saying shit, but he is just going to sing like a canary.
So, in talking to Levi, he said that there was some kind of plan when you guys were driving around. Do you know what that is? No. About,
No. He puts up like a sandcastle wall when the tide starts coming in, but, you know, you've been to the beach.
Here's Megan.
grabbing a mom and
Get
a
on the
daughter.
edge of her rolly chair.
Closer and
You remember
closer.
talking about that?
Yeah.
What was the conversation there? What was
Just like thinking about doing it and just driving around looking for a girl.
looking for girls walking down the
Yeah.
street? What age group were you looking for?
I don't know, just whatever.
Okay, real quick, because they'll sort of get into it, but I feel like you need to know this and get this unpacked for you. Because it's sort of confusing. Like, Andrew here is a self-proclaimed gay man. Totally fine with that. Whatever. There's some of the coverage I've seen of this case. Some speculate because he was molested by, I think, an uncle or something, or it was his dad, and his uncle was the good one. All the details are lost to me now, but that's the thing, because they'll bring that up too. They say, you're gay, right? He goes, yeah. And they go, well, you want to snatch a girl? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. When that comes up, it'll hit you like a speed bump, because you go like, what? But that's the thing, I guess. Like, it comes up a lot, especially when the psychologists and psychiatrists jump into this ring and be like, oh, well, here's what they're actually thinking. Like, it's a power thing and dynamic. And at that age, there's no hair and yada, yada, all the gross stuff
right.
that, like, psychologists have to, like, justify in these minds of these people. I don't think you can. I think if you're just willing to, like if you get off on hurting people, it doesn't matter who.
Yes. Right.
Like, maybe we'll get to it one day, but there was this guy who, and he's been all over the place recently on YouTube with like all the documentaries and stuff. Like, his victim was like a 90-something-year-old woman, and he did all the gross stuff that you do in that situation after she had died. And then, like, then he's one of these idiots who walks into like, well, maybe it was an accident sort of situation. Like, the dude who put his wife in a 55-gallon drum of acid, he got talked into the whole, like, it was an accident. She fell and hit her head. And then I accidentally processed her for 18 hours into a vat. Like, whoops. Like,
My bad.
But
She just
whatever.
didn't happen.
digressions.
Just whatever popped up.
Yeah.
So were you going to try and get a kid that was not with the mom, or did you want one with the mom?
We hadn't really planned it like that, like just,
What was the conversation?
I don't really remember, we were just talking about just getting a girl, whatever.
How old of a girl?
I don't know.
Like a
If I were going to, like, abduct someone and someone was in this, like, scheme with me, I mean, obviously this is the most feeble lie in the world, but, like, imagine being like, so he said you were going to snatch someone off the street. And he's like, yeah. Like, what was the plan there? And he's like, I don't know. It's just a blue sky sort of thing. We just get in the car,
it'd be
toss some
fun.
ideas around, little writer's room atmosphere. Oh, there's a kid. Grab him. Let's start some horrible crimes.
like a little girl, like to start keeping
Like
down.
in your mind,
In
how
your
old
mind.
were you thinking?
Probably younger than 8.
Younger than 8?
Yeah.
Probably.
Because would that be easier to handle, you think? I mean, is that why, or you're just
Yeah,
interested in
Yeah,
Don't put words in his mouth.
8 and younger?
pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So, with this conversation, when you talked to your brother about it, did that happen in the car? Were you guys in the car talking about it? Were you up in your room? Where were you at?
I don't even remember.
Does it
We might
matter?
have been talked about it once or twice in the car, talked about it a couple times in the house.
Have you talked about it for a long time, though?
Yeah.
Because he said that you've been talking about this like your whole life.
Yeah.
Is that true?
But, like, not doing like that, but yeah.
No, not,
Sure.
not that, but yeah, basically, yeah, my entire life I've been thinking about victimizing people. But that's the thing, like, this is the whole nature versus nurture thing. Like, when the nurture part of your life is, like, horrifying abuse, like, it's I want to say it's a no-brainer too, because most of these people, you say, well, there's not enough really to make anybody snap in most of these cases. But sometimes the nature is like just a dollop of cow shit. And like we said, nature versus nurture, which is it? And I go, well, the nurture here, no matter what the nature, right? No matter what system, what safety nets that society had, some people are going to slip through. And here, the nurture wasn't there.
Yeah.
And, you know, the face tattoos and the plannings.
Talking about stuff like not kidnapping, but just doing stuff like downloading whatever.
Oh, downloading child porn?
Yeah.
Well, he said that you like have always kind of wanted to kidnap. Have you always? When did the kidnapping thing start to?
I don't even remember. A
couple years ago.
Probably.
You've always had the desire to just grab a kid.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about what you would do with the kid after you grabbed him?
Nah.
Her, no.
Or her, yeah, because he said it would had to be a girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason why it would had to be a girl versus a boy, or why do you prefer girls? That's your preference?
Yeah.
You just want a girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know?
But like, that's the thing, man. This feels like a TCAP style interview, and it kind of is, because they're beyond,
Right.
like, they're beyond reasonable doubt to, like, once you've got it from 8 different angles and like it'll, you know, there's 9 different sound recorders literally everywhere catching you. It's sort of a foregone conclusion when they go, well, what were you here for? And they go, I don't know. And like, well, we got the time. And that's what we're doing here, kind of. It's like, well, really dig into this stuff.
Thomas says, you know, I teach him guy things like fishing and making love to an older tattooed man.
Father, son.
Do you know what you would do with her after you got her?
Probably not.
You don't know.
Nope.
Did you guys talk about where
Never
you were going to
thought
go?
I think we just said we'd just drive around in the car.
That's a fucking lie. Like that.
Just take her and drive around.
Like that's the thing. I think people, and everybody does this. If it's a situation you just don't want to open up about, you just look stupid, right? Like, imagine this in this situation, this context. Like, this has been on my mind recently. Motorcycles are something I love. Imagine walking into a dealership, looking at all the bikes. You got cruisers and ADV bikes and sport tourings and sports and, you know, like the weird stuff and the whatever. There's a million different things you can walk into. They go, hey, what's up? What's up with you, man? And you go, I want a motorcycle. They go, okay, where do you want to go with it? You go, I don't know. You go, okay, you like the pavement or you like the dirt? You go, okay, well, are you interested in being up on 2 wheels at all? You go, 2? Oh, I don't even know. Like, and you just like, it's all the more hilarious when it's like I like it all, baby. That's the thing. They don't make a bike that goes on everything. That's why we're in this situation. You got to ask a few questions. And they didn't just land in this, you know, they didn't pull them out of a hat necessarily, like they love to say. Just be like, I don't know, man. It's just so frustrating that, you know, I feel like I'm becoming a semi-jailhouse lawyer. Like, because, you know, when you're in the system and you learn things, but like you watch enough true crime and you go, no, like if you, here's the thing, like you're going to run through these thought experiments. You go, if I'm in this situation and I know I'm guilty and I want to try and do what these people are doing, like get some info from, because there are some people who do it great. There's an interrogation with like this dude. He's like the head of a biker club who had this dude Bagger Bob murdered. And his interrogation is fucking brilliant because he's a fucking jailhouse lawyer. He gets the detectives to basically tell him everything. And he goes, I don't know dick about shit. And they go, oh, damn.
He got us.
And he walks out of there knowing everything they know and not arrested.
Wow.
I'm not saying I would ever like test that. Like I'm going to go out and like commit any sort of crime and be like, now come get me, cops, because I've got a plan. Because that's a stupid idea. It takes years of being a criminal to figure out what the fuck. Yeah. But it's just seeing these people who are like with their training wheels on and being a criminal, and they're just with the whole I don't know. And they go like they'll lay out all the evidence. They go, we got pictures, we got video, we got audio. Here's your car. We got cell phone pings. We got this, that, and the other. And I just watched this interrogation with this fucking idiot. He goes, so just because you saw my car, and the detective's like, no, it's not just because, right? If you order a pizza that has onions and sausage and pepperoni and black olives and anchovies and pineapple and all this shit, and you go, so just because there's a pineapple, it's not a pizza? Like, no, it's like all the things. You can't point to one thing and be like, so, and P.S., the dude was 6'2" and weighed 400 pounds. So it's not like.
It's not like he'd be mistakable.
Do you think there's a rash of someone else like robbing the P.S. He was robbing 7-Elevens where he worked. He didn't rob the one he worked at, but he robbed other ones because he knew how. And in one or two of the robberies, he had to talk the cashier through how to open the register to give him the money.
Nice.
And P.S.
That's all on video.
And that's the thing. He robbed a store that he worked at. Not the one he currently worked at, but one he worked at before. So when the dude who hired him said, I think it's that dude who I hired who's 6'2" and 400 fucking pounds. They go, huh? We think so too, because of all the evidence.
Right. Don't forget Daryl Brooks. He didn't consent to any of their evidence to this day.
You know, and here's the thing. I kind of feel bad for Daryl Brooks now, because where was the state of Wisconsin? He kept asking for.
They were a no-show.
Yeah.
No call, no show.
You couldn't find a fucking kid with like some construction paper hanging around, like just to make my life a little funnier.
Okay, is that what the car seat was for?
No.
No?
That was for his baby girl
I forgot about this part. Let me just play it out.
that we watched a long time ago. That might not even have been his.
Okay. Did you see, did you actually have the baby girl with you?
Yeah.
Okay, because he says the baby girl doesn't exist. So you actually had.
That's what he said.
Yeah. Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so you had a baby girl? Yeah. Well, he said that never happened. He said that? Yes. Is that true? Yes.
What?
Why even? Here's the thing. Why even bother lying then? Like, if you're gonna stick with the I don't know, stick with the I don't know. At least that's like less confusing.
Right.
But to be like, he had his daughter. He has a little girl, and they go, well, so he did have a little girl. He thought he had a daughter. That was the story. So maybe he had a daughter, but you're saying he has a daughter because he obviously bought the car seat, right? Yes. Yeah. But he doesn't, does he?
Nah, bro.
What the fuck? Why?
What?
We just had the car seat.
Wait till the appeals
Like,
court
throw
sees all the tax
spam
agreements.
people, whatever.
Okay, just to troll around.
He just likes to make people think he has a daughter.
Why?
I don't know. And
Okay.
I just wanted to say that to.
P.S. If you're thinking about abducting a child and you don't, you and your brother here haven't landed on an age, like, I can't think of a better. How, if you were to say, what's premeditation look like, right? What does premeditation in the crime sphere look like? I say it looks like a panel or a windowless white van with a car seat in it.
An empty car seat? Yeah.
Like, here's the thing, because you look at murders, right? You go, well, people own guns recreationally because they like to shoot them. They own knives in their kitchen because food has to be cut, right? What does premeditation look like? It's a car seat in this dude's van.
Because I didn't know what he was saying.
That was your cover story.
Yeah.
Was that he had a daughter?
No, not that for people like that. Just our friends and stuff. I don't know why he likes to pretend he has a daughter. He
Okay.
just says. But I think he does have kids, girls, and I don't know if he watches them or sees them.
So, but did you?
This is your brother we're talking about? The dude that you spend all of your time with and made this plan with that, you'll admit to as long as he admits to it first? That guy?
Yeah.
You don't know if he has a couple daughters?
Never really babysit that kid,
No.
so that's just a made-up
So that was
story.
just a lie that you told me to cover for him?
Yeah.
I know we're all supposed to be post-church moms. I can't even read this.
I know we're all supposed to be the post-church moms of the 90s, live as you will Americans of the future. But you still got to know when that first face tat goes on, it's going to be uphill from here.
I mean, that's it. That's expensive. He's got an expensive body
No,
with all the tattoos.
No, here's the thing. If you know a guy, they're
Oh, yeah, I
always
guess.
free, and his have no skill. I guarantee he knows a guy. But yeah, I'm totally with you there, Thomas, because I mean, on the conceptual level, this guy was horrifyingly abused by family members in a very disgusting way. So it wasn't like me when I got my first tattoo at 18, like I got a koi fish on my leg, like because I had a connection to Asian culture and I love keeping aquariums, so I just nailed it with the koi fish. It wasn't like everything was going fine. Like I'm listening to TLC and Alanis Morissette, right? And then all of a sudden I've got like a dick and balls over my nose and eyes and for no reason. And my mom's like, well, that's cool. No, she's flipped her shit when she saw a fish on my leg. But whatever. Moral of the story is I do agree sometimes, but by then your foot has been off the gas so long.
Yeah.
It doesn't even know what it feels like.
Because I thought he was going to say that he had a daughter because he just likes to pretend.
Because that's the story that you guys tell people.
Yeah.
Right? Now,
And why?
Who bought the car seat?
I bought it, but he paid for it.
Okay. Where'd you buy it?
Walmart, I think.
Good. It's good.
Okay. Do you remember how long ago?
No, I don't. Sometime last year.
Okay. And so it was, whose idea was it to buy the car seat?
It was his.
What brand
and
of car seat did you
because
get?
he wanted
We came
get
together
just,
on that one.
Like, just make people think we had a baby girl or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, you look at this dude and you look at
Two brothers.
car seat. Yeah. Like, oh my God. Somebody, Thomas, maybe you've watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Who are the two brothers in It's Always Sunny with the sister with the mustache? You know what I'm talking about. These are them.
Oh, the
Like if the one with the dark hair, no, let's see.
fucking
it's-
twins.
Yeah, the one with the dark hair got the face tattoos because he has most of the incest twins. If the dark haired one got face tattoos, this is where they'd be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost a 1-for-1 after that.
Like, fuck with
Maybe they don't drink as much milk, Levi and Andrew.
people, I guess.
Okay. So just so,
We just like to do that just to fuck with people. And
just to make people, did you ever put like $1 of anybody in the seat? Or?
No.
No? And that was
we used
never,
to have a car before.
The
that we had, like, a
McPoyles.
baby girl.
Yeah, the McPoyles.
Liam and Ryan McPoyle.
Yeah, and isn't that so close? Levi, Liam, Andrew, Ryan, close. They both have R's.
No,
I'm calling it.
They're the Peacocks.
Just to see people's reactions and stuff and see what they would do.
okay. Did anybody ever do anything?
Not really. They just looked and took pictures.
Nobody did anything. Okay. So when you were talking, so
Right, because what's anybody gonna do? Like you call CPS and they come out and they go, okay, what's up with that? And they go, it's a car seat. And you have a kid? And you go, no, well, we're not the car
There's no
seat
kid,
protection
so
service.
bye.
do you think the kidnapping,
It does feel a little bit like whatever state agency that checked up on King Cobra's bearded dragon a little bit, though.
desire has been a desire of yours for the past 2 years? Would you
It
say?
might have been longer. I don't remember.
I'd say 30
exactly how
years or
long,
so.
but Yeah.
Okay. Did your brother have that desire to kidnap too?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was something that you two talked about together?
Yeah.
And
Are you on any medication that causes an uncontrollable urge to kidnap or gamble?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, this guy doesn't seem like super healthy. Maybe he was put on an experimental drug that's like, hey, if you feel or experience the need to kidnap children, consult your doctor. And he's just ignoring that advice.
and what did you guys say? Like, how did that even come up?
I don't even remember.
Was it while you were watching child porn?
No, we don't really watch it together.
You don't watch it together?
That would be strange.
gross. I'm not going to watch CP with my brother. Blah!
Like, maybe
How dare you?
just like check it out. I just make sure that I watch it first because we make sure
Gay?
that there's no boys in it. And
Right, make
Whoa.
sure there's no boys.
He just said he watches it first to make sure there's no boys in it before his brother watches it. That is weird. I mean, it's all weird. It's all weird. I guess it doesn't matter. But that was just
Right, but that's the thing. This is the reason why I don't want to say I like this interrogation is it's just so layered.
yeah.
Right? So like because there's like that baseline of the layer cake, like the sedimentary rock, like where bacteria are first forming on Earth, of just like straight horrifying child abuse. And then like the insulation with the weird brother, the rest of the weird family, the collection of this, the implementation of that. And it's just like, at what point? Because like you could dig into any one of these elements and just spend the rest of your life there, and it's all just water off a duck's back to this guy.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
this is something that like people would go to therapy their entire lives for if they experienced 1/8 or 1/16 of these trials and tribulations.
For sure.
And he's just like, I guess we had a plan to kidnap and horrify and rip apart families for our own needy, gross, perverted gratifications.
Definitely not. Just
Definitely not. Ugh.
Because so we don't like it, and then he's like traumatized from him being molested when he's younger, so he doesn't want to even see that, so I check it first.
But when we were at the house, you told me that you both watched it together.
I did.
Yeah.
No, I said we downloaded it together.
Okay. And then you guys...
We watch it like the first time, but then...
Back in there. Back in there, Thomas?
Get back in there.
Okay, so you just put it in the hard drives,
Yeah.
and then you take it to your computer to watch it?
Thomas, you probably saw this, but did you see that cartoon? Like, Where Did I Come From? Right, with the animated simulation of sex and everything, and the tadpoles in the pool, which simulated the sperm and everything. Yeah, when you said put it back in there, I imagine like all like little sperms, like with little football helmets, cartoon wise, like busting through a paper banner that says like vagina. And you're like, you were standing there at the end of the runway going like, and they all turn around sadly and walk back through the busted papers.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, so.
Get back in there.
So you download, who downloads? You or
Varsity Blue Balls.
We
Oh.
both do.
you both download?
Yeah.
How do you decide what you're gonna download?
I just put whatever.
Not today. Sorry,
Not
fellas.
today.
Put it in there and just,
Like a search
just
term?
click them.
Okay,
happening
and then you
in
pick out
Orion?
what
Hi.
movies you want?
Sometimes I just randomly just click them without even looking.
Okay.
And we talked about your search term.
Yeah, I'll just like throw my hand over my eyes and just spin the mouse wheel and whatever.
Yeah.
You know, the long list on LimeWire. I don't want to keep bringing up LimeWire because that might be slanderous, but like whatever, like program.
Thing.
Because that's the thing. I like. There are some things that are so removed from what you might call normal life. Is like, where would you even start? Like, if I snapped and decided to like get meth or any other illicit material, whether it be drug related or whatever, right? I have no idea where I would go, right? Like, people grow up in this shit. Like, if somebody came up to me and they're like, get some meth, where? How? Like, like everybody in TV land on every sitcom ever that needed to get drugs but had no idea, I'd be walking around some sort of like downtown Phoenix alley with $15 poking through my fingers and then end up with like a toothbrush in my kidney and no $15.
Correct. I'm late. Is this Fidel Castro's grandson?
Castor oil? Yeah, no. It's Fidel Castro. It's Valvoline. Call it Valvoline.
Terms, right?
Yeah.
Which were what?
ADHD and Lolita and Little Girl. And I forgot what else to say.
Okay.
Ugh.
So he told you to view them first just to make sure there's not boys in those.
Yeah,
Those
because
things.
he's traumatized by that.
He doesn't want to see naked boys.
Yeah.
Okay, and how about you?
I don't want to see them either, but it
What's
bothers
it?
me seeing them, but not like it would him.
Okay, so you kind of protect.
Like on what? I don't know, man. Like
Is he the older brother?
I don't know. It probably, but it doesn't matter. But like how? Like you say, well, I'm like, what kind of hypocrisy sandwich? Like you're living in a paradox. Like you were horrifyingly abused as a child, and now you're passing that down to another generation. But like the line in the sand you draw is like not watching the abuse directed at your own gender because it's too close to home.
Yep.
You go, that individual has no exterior genitalia, so I'm A-okay. Like,
all good.
where do you, what? How?
Ryan says, I know a former chemistry teacher in Santa Fe who can be your math connection. Or meth connection. Sorry.
Seal. I mean, if that's a Breaking Bad reference, I mean, I get it, but I'm not a fan. I've never seen an episode, but I get it.
Thomas says, the thing that gets me is when they talk about getting or having CP, it's so alien to me that if I was among anyone who said they had it, I'd leap out a fucking window or roll out the passenger seat.
Seriously?
Yeah, like what do you do?
Because, like, that's one of those things where, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just when you start getting into something, you know, your gears get greased and it's a little, like, as long as you go slow, it'll be easy to slip into any sort of subculture, right? Because, like, when I was young and I, like, first became aware that, like, being a homosexual is a thing. So my cousin came out as gay and I'm like, cool. Can we still play racquetball or whatever? Fine. I was like, because as a kid, I wasn't, like, finding out that gay people existed. I was like, whoa, that's a thing. And then I was like, but how do they find each other? Because I knew that, like, homophobia exists, and we, you know, people use the F slur all the time.
Right.
I was like, how do you, like, drop that you're, but obviously there's, like, all, like, people have been gay all the time. So there's, like, ways, and, like, even if you're not out, there's, like, ways you can be subversive about it and find out who does what. But, like, as an idiot outside of that sphere utterly, I would go, like, like, again, with, like, the $15 in, like, a dirty alley in Phoenix, like, I'm tugging on some dude's shirt sleeve at a bar, and I'm like, are you gay? Because I am. No? Okay. And I wander off to find someone else. But, I mean, obviously, like, but that, yeah, I mean, there's a world of difference between, like, using meth and being gay, hopefully. But, like, I feel like the barriers to entry of being gay would be easier because there's gay bars. There's not, like, meth lounges. Like, there's no more opium dens if I wanted to get into that.
Right.
Protect him, and you preview the
I
child
look at it and
before he watches it. And then does he tell you, so he tells you he only wants to watch the girls?
Yeah,
And what is his age preference?
the same.
The same.
I don't
know what yours is.
Oh,
So you said 8 and under?
yeah, I think it's the same. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Might go to
And
9 once in a
Have you
while.
always been attracted to little girls?
I think it started when I was.
Rod says we all saw how that worked out for Mr.
Roosevelt. Yeah, but the thing is here, I think we're safe. He's like Federico Gondola and Mr. Roosevelt all in one, though, because, like, who's going to hire this guy to be a handyman? And that's the thing. It would be if Mr. Roosevelt invited this guy, like, he brought his own laptop with the CP.
If your shoe falls off, it's a pretty common cruising signal.
13, you decided.
Dr. Woolen? Not gay, confirmed by Ryan. Shoe never fell off. Straight as an arrow, that guy.
That's just early as I can remember.
Okay. So about
Thomas says, I remember when I was a kid, the older boys asked me if I knew what gay was, and I said it was men who press their penises together, and they bullied me for it. But oh, guess what? Tummy sticks is real.
I mean, sure, but yeah, but I guess if you can feel good, like, looking back with the hindsight of 2020, like, winning on a technicality. I sort of did the same thing, right? Because if you, like, you're not initiated into adult things, like, here's the thing. I think I got browbeat into something, and I should have been like, I know what's going on, but I was just too embarrassed because, like, I was at church camp of all places.
I mean,
and the concept of, you know, as you would, like, you're a Lutheran kid, you go from Arizona to San Diego to hang out in a church by the beach for 6 days with a bunch of people you don't know. Of course, queefing is going to come up in conversation. And so, you know, playing devil's advocate and, like, being, you know, on that side, I go, if they didn't do it, you know, they'd explode. Because I feel like every time gas is trapped, it has to, however it gets there, it's got to leave, right? You can't stay there forever. And, like, I knew what I was talking about, but everybody was like, oh, you're talking about farting. And I was like, and everybody, like, laughed way too quick before I could be like, no, I just. So whatever. I didn't even get to explain myself, but I didn't want to. Like, it wasn't like it was a throwaway joke that I didn't want to have to like backpedal through after everybody was done laughing and be like, no, fuck it. We're in church camp. Stop talking about queefing. God damn it, I told them.
About 13. And then what about your brothers? He's always said that he's...
I don't know how long.
That's amazing.
Who's stupid now?
And then, but now your brother and your mom also tell me that you're gay.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, so you like
I only like older guys.
older men,
Yeah.
and then girls 8 and under.
Yeah.
Would that be a true
Just
statement?
younger girls, like, it doesn't exactly have to be 8 and younger, it could be older.
It could be older.
Yeah.
It's like if your favorite foods are like Vegemite paste, neat from the jar, and like Toll House cookies, right? You're like, what? What's going on there? You're gay, right? Yeah, totally. But only older dudes, not gross over here. This guy.
He used to say no homo. That's the rules.
Oh yeah, back in the day, as long as you were saying no homo.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. Here is the thing about no homo. I never said no homo because I felt like it was stupid, and I wasn't worried about people thinking I was a homosexual. Like, I was confident enough in that, at least. Like, my confidence is typically at an all-time low, but I'm never worried about being confused for a homosexual. Number one, because, like, what the fuck do I care? Like, someone might think I'm pleasant for a minute and a half. But it's not like they're going to be like, aha, we think you're gay. And I go, oh, maybe I will kiss the dude. It just never came up. How do I start telling this story?
No homo.
Oh, yeah, no homo. So I never said it. But it did also feel like every time I saw someone saying no homo, it was like in a locker room where dudes were doing very homoerotic things. So it felt like if you were one of the cool kids, or like, as long as you had like the, what do you like? I want to say cool credit, but like your status was high enough.
Elevated.
Yeah, you could like, I feel like when I was in high school and junior high, like you could full blown go balls deep in a dude. As long as you say no homo and you're above me
You're on the football
social
team.
status level, they go, yeah,
It's
he
cool.
said no homo.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, his genitals now smell like poop, but he said no homo.
Ryan says, I remember in 5th grade, a girl was teasing me on the playground, asking me if I knew what a period was. I knew what she meant, but was too shy to say anything. She said, it's the little dot at the end of the sentence for girls, and she ran away giggling. Tom said, Ryan, I had three older sisters growing up, so I felt like the town dock in an old West settlement.
Holy shit.
I say this before, fellers.
Yeah, you roll up your sleeves, you say, give me a pot of boiling water and some clean towels. Yeah.
Yeah.
But younger than
Yeah.
12? Or younger than
Probably.
18?
Yeah, probably younger.
I'm partially glad that we have a boy
Do you have
for
really?
that reason.
I mean, here's the thing.
Because I have to deal with it. I don't want to have to deal with it for somebody else too.
Yeah. It's a flip of the coin, because it's not like it's all sunshine and roses if your genitals are external, right? Like, I'm going to have to, if it was if we had a daughter, I'd be like, woo, the period stuff's on you. But like when he starts popping boners and doing stuff, I'm going to be the one to like catch that ball and like, what am I going to...
Yeah,
Because like, here's the thing about ladies, and like, because the thing is like, okay, you're going to get this once a month. It'll work like clockwork. Here's all the stuff you need to do, and go off and do your own thing. I'm going to have to like, at some point, and nobody did this to me, so I'm going to do him the kindness to be like, boners going to happen all the fucking time. You don't know when, you don't know where. Sometimes they'll be completely disconnected to how you feel, but look out, right? Like, even to this day, like being a man with a fully functional anatomy, it's like walking through a minefield, and you don't know which misstep is going to give you an erection. And then what do you do with it? I'm at work or whatever. Like,
Relationships with older men? No, not recently, no. Like sexual relationships? Yeah. Where do you mean that's why?
I have the movie. I remember, whatever. Here's a really quick story. Worst person to like, whatever. I don't want to say our old nurse, but she was an old lady and she was our nurse. But so this old lady was a nurse. Like, she came in to like show us a little bit of the video they showed the girls. And so her whole overarching theme was to be like, since this was like 5th, 6th grade, she's like, some girls might be getting around that time. So if you see spots on their pants, don't make fun of them. And it just felt like you could hear the scribbling of pencils as we all put in our notebooks, like, watch out for blood spots, perfect time to like
belittle women,
really fuck up somebody's day, like over something they can't control.
I never watched any of that.
You like that, Thomas? He sometimes likes it when the boner surprises him. I'm not gonna
work, friends.
I'm not gonna say I don't not enjoy it all the time, but that's the thing. More often than not, I'm not in a position to enjoy it, right? There was a time in my life, like my entire 20s, if I lay down anytime during the day to take a nap, I was at full mast. And there was nothing I could do about it. My body had some sort of like valve, like a carburetor in a motorcycle, where as soon as it went past a certain thing, it would just open and just I go, God damn it.
I want to take a nap.
It makes rolling over on the couch a pain. It makes literally everything, and especially when you get the ones that are like so intense that it feels like someone is behind you working a pump. And you go, stop.
It's like a fun challenge. Like if Turbo from American Gladiators just showed up in the office hallway and won't let you by.
But I kind of get that. But then, like, Jesus, how many? I don't want to talk about it anymore.
We just have women just have other issues when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Contact people anymore because all they want to do is have sex. Okay. And I was trying to look for a relationship. Okay. And that's all they want to do is have sex. So. And how would you meet these good games?
It's just really quick. Back on topic for a second. He's talking about how he wants to find a dude to love him for who he is, but most of them just want sex. So, like, in his gay adult relationships, he wants to be viewed and, valued as a person. Right. Not just a piece of meat with a bunch of face tattoos. But when he's assaulting kids, it's like, I want them to be just like pieces of meat. Like, he wants to run onto a farm with a bunch of piglets and do a bunch of weird shit to them.
Oh, Ryan's about to talk about how you get a pee boner every morning when you wake up. Yeah. That was what he probably hit send in his mid-sentence.
That's the thing. I'm not against a pee boner. That's a functional thing. I mean, I don't know. I have a question. Sure. Hit me with it.
Do these things go away pretty fast?
It depends.
Sometimes?
No. Not all the times, but sometimes. But like here's the thing. I always justified the pee boner in the morning because when you're in that part of life where like your sleep is heavy, your body will inflate your dong to keep the urine from leaking onto your sheets. As you age and your sleep becomes lighter because you become stressed about literally everything, and any sort of movement or sound will wake you up, you don't need to get the pee boner anymore. So that's one boner I've been able to like shed like an old skin, but all the other boners are still there. I just wake up now to piss. Like, I don't wake up at the time I would normally wake up, just with my body keeping the urine in place via an inflated phallus. Just wake up at 2 a.m.
Yeah, I didn't use and for a while because all they do is want to have sex and I'm not into just having sex.
So where do you think the rage comes from with you guys wanting to grab a girl off the street?
I have no idea.
You think it comes from child porn?
Really?
Wanting your own sex slave, you think?
I have no idea. Probably.
We're like tribal doctors. You see, the pee fills the boner because the urine is so strong.
That's what I'm saying. I'm fine with that answer. I don't need a medical reason. I don't need science to step in and to explain a pee boner to me. Like my old world voodoo doctor, like tribal shit lizard brain explaining to me cognitively that the boner is there to keep me from pissing my bed. Totally fine. If it isn't real, I don't want to know if it isn't. But it just felt like the boner was there to keep the pee.
We don't have that kind of
valve. I always felt bad for girls because, like, whatever. I always thought of myself as lucky in this one scenario because if I ever had to like piss really bad, even as I employed this technique like as a child when I would like wait way too long because I was having too much fun at the ball pit or in the RC cars or whatever. like sometimes I would just, grab the crank because my muscles, like there was too much liquid and not enough muscles. So I just grabbed the crank and pinch off the tube. Problem solved. I looked, like a child weirdo grabbing his crotch, but all children grab their crotches, so it was acceptable.
Our kid does it all the time.
He's in that stage right now. But I sometimes have to employ it as an adult, but I do it through the pocket. I wouldn't just grab it, like I did as a kid. But I always felt bad because ladies don't have anything. You just have to rely on your own internal muscle strength.
Because there have been many a time where I wake up in the middle of the night like, God, I have to pee, but I do not want to get up.
When we put together a best of, I will, Thomas.
The plan of grabbing a mom, if you were to grab the mom, and Levi says that you guys were driving down the street that you saw a mom and a little girl, and that you would have choked the mom out and killed her and then just took the girl?
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the plan was?
Pretty much, yeah.
And you're just going to do this on the side of the road. Like, it must be nice to be so stupid and to not ever have to worry or concern yourself or be stressed about or have anxiety over real, how do I want to say this? Like a real grasp on reality? Because I only bring that up because it comes up a lot in true crime where especially in the ones where they'll admit premeditation, they'll go, well, I thought it was going to be like this, but then I was like, God damn, there's so much cleanup. And processing a human body is a lot of work. Right? And obviously, but if you're an idiot and you don't ever get to that point, imagine if he got to live out that fantasy where he jumps out and there's a mom and a daughter and he's trying to choke the mom out to death, which will take at least 4 minutes if he does it correctly, which do you think he's
Who's going to? Right.
All on the side of a road? At a red light?
Yeah.
You're just going to keep hitting the crosswalk sign until, you have enough time on that red light to, I know, in public? Are you going to, because here's the thing. In your head, as a pervert or an idiot or a whatever, you're going to just, in your head, be the hero of your own minds. Do you find someone and they basically just acquiesce to you murdering them in your head because they never fight back? With Joel Guy Jr., his plan was to do all that stuff and plant DNA under fingernails and do this and that. And then when the rubber hit the road and his parents fought tooth and nail because they didn't want to fucking die,
right?
The plane went out the window and he's like, I'm going home.
Longer than 4 minutes to knock out a grown woman? Amateur.
I mean, you think he's not taking the Roddy Piper school of sleeper holds, right?
No, he doesn't look like a very big dude.
No, we didn't see one like that and just plan on whatever doing it right there like that, but I don't even remember if we saw one walking like that and we thought.
Well, and technically, Thomas, we're not talking about knocking her out. They're talking about killing her. Because, he could, if, with a overabundance of generosity on my part, if he practiced long enough, the sleeper hold, because you could put someone to sleep in under 15 seconds, but he's talking about committing a full-blown homicide, a full-blown premeditated homicide on the side of a busy intersection in my mind, because where else would you find someone on the side of the road? Gonna drive out to Wyoming on one of their dirt roads for 4,700 miles just waiting for someone to be with a thumb out? Who's also a kid, by the way,
right.
8 and under, which you're not going to find on the side of the road in Wyoming.
I think we were just driving and we just started talking about it.
Random thoughts came in your head. So is this
Just random.
an anger act? I mean, are you mad at, or
Probably.
Probably.
why are you mad?
Probably.
I have no idea.
But you feel anger inside.
I don't like that you come back at me with, no, Thomas, you have to understand. We're talking about murdering a woman. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there is a lot going on. Because that's the thing. It's not like... there's back when Adam Carolla was on the radio and then it became a podcast, I remember being led to this clip where and I want to say it was because there was some professional wrestler that was B tier that was in that group that someone got big nuts and was you can't put me out in a sleeper hold, and the dude's okay, so he acquiesced and he put him at 3 seconds. Wow. See, I'm not going to say that anyone, like, despite their size, could be like, boop, and put a jogging lady with a stroller out, as long as she's not like. But here's the thing: I can't think of a worse target than like a parent of a child.
Right.
Like, come at me on the sidewalk without my kid, and you'll probably kill me because I'm not going to be on alert all the time. If you fucking make a weird move 20 feet away from me and my kid's near me, you're now a target that I'm going to have to watch until you disappear.
Yeah.
Like, but that's the thing. Like, idiots like this are going to be like, yeah, it'll be a sweet cake deal. Like, Levi, you grab the kid. I'm going to choke this bitch out in 3.5 seconds. And then we'll fly back to our plan of driving around until I'm forced to tell you what I'm actually going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you're great, Thomas. I love you.
What drives you to want to get or is it a sexual drive?
I don't really know. It's probably something that happened to me in the past that I don't know what happened to me.
But you feel angry?
Yeah.
All the time?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much furious right
You don't
now.
know why?
Yeah.
You sound really
And you want to take it out on
angry.
younger girls?
I love you,
Yeah.
baby.
What about the older men?
Give me some sugar, baby.
I haven't thought about.
That you're not angry towards the older men?
I'm angry towards them because all they want to do is have sex, but that's probably it.
But it's different.
But you don't know why.
Do you think Lauren Armstrong would be like, you should love them, not just want them like children? I mean, you'd make them part of your life, not. God damn, like, what sort of monsters have we wrought? Like, the more rules we put in place, the more perverts we make, right?
Yeah.
I feel like before laws, like when we were just animals and we knew it, we're living in the animal kingdom, so few, this is again my lizard brain about like the pea boner maybe, but I'm just extrapolating. It just feels like there were probably less perverts and murderers before rules and stuff were in place. And I only say that because I've met so many people who just have that fuck you attitude where it's like, if there's a law, I'm going to break it. And I don't want to say like someone is looking at like, oh, I can't? You're telling me I can't have relations with a child? Fuck you, bitch. Like, I'm going to do it on principle. I don't think anybody's doing that.
No. And you're right. You're right. The more laws there are, the more weirdos come out. But like, if you think way back in the day, there were quote unquote marriages or relationships with young girls,
Right. And
older men.
That's the thing.
And that was a thing.
We're a very it's interesting that we as elevated beings with intelligence and this and that can look at other animals, which we are a part of that kingdom, and go like, whoa, can you believe that all these animals do all these weird things? And then we look at ourselves and we go, we can't do any of that. I'm not saying we should.
Yeah.
But it's just a bizarre situation to be like, because well, then again, like abuse is a thing, and like we're whatever.
They're Eskimo kissing him.
Yeah, because they do feel like they're moving closer, right? Where
Yeah.
eventually they're just gonna be like,
Thomas says, you mean to tell me there's a law against having a relationship with a child? Well, now I want it even more is actually the Libertarian Party's motto verbatim.
yeah, it's like, Sammy Hagar started it, and it was a slippery slope because he couldn't drive 55. They said, hey, 55 is the limit. I don't know why that happened. Watch a documentary on it. You'll find it interesting because it was weird. Like, I don't want to digress about driving 55, but look it up. One of the stories, like they said, you have to drive 55. He said, I can't. Like, I can't imagine a situation where, like, if someone were to come at me and say, you can't do X reprehensible thing. Don't murder your wife or kill your grandparents or, get intimate with children. And I go, fuck you, man. I got that punk rock attitude. And then I would just go off and do it. Like, what the fuck?
Why you're angry?
No.
You have no idea?
No.
That you just feel it inside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you want to kill people too?
No.
You don't?
No.
Do you tell people that you want to kill people?
I probably told them when I went to the hospital that I'm feeling homicidal, but I didn't mean like I was going to kill someone. Like I meant like I was going to beat someone off.
Right.
I meant I was going to beat someone up, but homo means same. So don't get crazy, people. But homicide. The side part is what I want to focus on. Killing, right? I'm homicidal. I didn't mean I want to kill someone. I mean I want to. You were
beat him up.
You were assaulticidal?
Oh yeah.
Like
assaulticidal.
Yeah, I'm aggravated assaulticidal, doctor. Whoa! You mean you might punch a dude?
Right. No, I mean like when you're with your brother.
Really gets crazy.
You don't ever tell them that you're gonna kill people.
No.
Just like if there's a guy.
Oh, no beer, no TV, make Andrew something. Go crazy?
No.
No. Okay.
But if you see a young girl, say like,
David, you can't kill any Guatemalans. I was going to, but I have that kind of OCD thing where I'm not going to be cool unless I get this out of my system now.
Don't mind if I do.
Don't mind if I do.
Someone says, hey, don't join the guerrilla forces of the, Iran-Contra debacle. I said, fuck you, bro. Ollie North wants to sell missiles, subversively to, guerrilla fighters in Central America, possibly with the okay of the president. I'm down.
like, she's hot, and like, you know that, things like that.
We just look at her and say something about her, whatever.
Okay.
Me and the other ghouls feel like you lost the urge to kill.
Now, if you were to grab a girl, would then you just leave her in the car and let her go somewhere?
Yeah, probably.
Don't admit it.
Hey, I know your tricks. I'm very familiar with reversible psychology, Michael.
Is it sexual? I mean, do you want to
Never declared a jihad on me.
It can work for any Ayatollah. Ayatollah Khomeini, Ayatollah Mahmoudar, even as we speak. And that's the thing, I don't know the quote well enough to know all their names.
Yeah.
I probably fucked up the two that I did say.
Yeah.
But good reference.
No, you're not just kidnapping her, just to kidnap her. You want to actually do stuff to her.
I don't know if I actually would, but yeah.
That's the idea behind it.
I don't know if I'd actually be able to go through with her not until I'm at that point.
Sounded like Lifesaver Dad for a second.
Dude, thanks for the lifesaver, son. My day is better. He throws a ball back at the barn.
You're angry at her.
Lifesaver, Dad.
Just people.
That's just people.
Yeah.
And so, but you don't know what drives you to want a girl versus a boy.
No.
But it's definitely a girl.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what your brother says.
Psychology says
And so what does he say
probably
about that?
because if
Does
you
he
were
initiate-
MO'd by a dude and you are a dude, you'd probably want to go after the person of the opposite sex because they didn't get it.
I don't know if that's true though.
I took a child psychology class in college, and some of the stuff is like if something happens and you're the same sex and something's happened to you, then you would be angry at the opposite sex because
Okay. Yeah, I kind of get that.
and if he was that age.
But the problem with psychology is it's bullshit a little bit.
Yeah.
Because yes, humans often run in patterns that are sometimes quantifiable, but like there are so many wild cards, and it's impossible to say, well, this would happen if that would happen, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It's just
It's never no.
I don't think
people
it's
are the same.
right. I don't think it's a matter of. Maybe it is a matter of preference, because that's the thing. You cannot also discount the factor of human delusion of themselves. The one thing you have zero grasp of accurately is yourself. Like, you can look at someone and dress them down and tell them exactly what and who they are if you're one of those people who's able to recognize patterns. But I guarantee if someone were to say, well, what do you think about yourself? There would be a lot of holes, and you'd probably blow yourself a little bit saying you're better than you are. Mm-hmm. Why did I start saying that?
Psychology.
Psychology. That's the thing. Yeah, that's right. You cannot. You can say it's likely that this will happen. However, right?
I took a psychology class taught by a child. I learned very little. It was very poorly structured. He kept making us take
Naps and play with Hot Wheels.
And play with Hot Wheels. Oh, I like the naps part. Hot Wheels I'm pretty sick of.
I'm not fundamentally opposed to the execution of the class. However, the content feels a little lacking.
Yeah.
I do love me a Hot Wheels car. Just P.S., guys. The same company owns Hot Wheels and Matchbox.
Yeah.
That would be like if Coke owned Pepsi.
Yeah.
Okay, so randomly you're talking back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay. And I didn't talk to you earlier. I talked to Levi.
Yeah.
Were you molested as
If I was, I don't remember.
Okay.
And if I did remember, there'd be no reason to hide it.
Right, but what are the odds that your brother was horrifyingly molested by
And
a
you
bunch of
weren't.
people in your family, and you just skated, and you are the one who popped with the face tattoos?
And is one that's angry all the time.
Yeah,
and
you have this sort of simmering rage that won't even get you to uncross your arms and express an emotion. But you're also the one who threw face tattoos on himself.
What if I were to talk to somebody?
I totally get blocking things out because that was the majority of my childhood. I have completely blocked out, and I don't know why. So,
But it doesn't really matter.
But I'm not angry all the time.
Most of my childhood is a blur. Like if you said, hey, what was it like being 5? I don't know. But if something triggers a memory, you go, hey, when I was this age approximately, I did this. So like if you were to say, sit down and think about your childhood, I would go, I don't know. But seeing something, smelling something especially, that's a huge memory trigger for
I get
humans.
random smells.
Bingo. But that's the thing, like you shouldn't look back at your life because like most of your life is not noteworthy. The
Right.
things that trigger your brain to catalog important information is when it is important. If you don't remember shit, you just had a boring childhood, which, I did too. Most of it's a blur. Like, it just feels like a bunch of Twilight Zone reruns and, Ninja Turtles action figures. I couldn't be like, well, on this day, because it was just like, whatever. You're just being a kid.
Being molested, but if it was anybody, I would think it would most likely get from my dad.
It would be your dad?
Yeah.
What's your relationship like with your dad?
We barely even talk. It's been like that our whole life.
Really?
He's always I remember better stuff from my uncle when we were homeless and we lived with my uncle, my mom's brother. I remember stuff he did for us.
It's like Bizarro World where the uncle is the good one. He's not the creepy uncle.
Right,
He's the
right.
good uncle. I was always hoping I would be the good uncle.
Ryan says I remember too much. I have something of an eidetic memory, not to the point where I can remember everything, but I remember a lot more than most people.
Right. Here's the thing. Full disclosure, I remember a lot of my childhood, but if you just have to be like, well, what was your childhood like? You go, because like I can tell you a million stories if there's a cue for it.
Yeah.
Like
I can't.
Apropos of nothing, I could tell you about the time I met the Crash Test Dummies when they were super popular and had an action figure line. I met them at Tri-City Mall, a mall that doesn't exist anymore, and had my fingerprints taken. So if I were ever abducted and became a criminal, that's the thing. When you fingerprint a kid, I go, why the fuck are you doing that?
Right.
They took my fingerprints when I was a kid, and I go, great. At least I got to meet the Crash Test Dummies. But if I'm abducted, do you think I'm just going to be like pawing places I've been? And not only am I pawing places I've been, but I'm also cognizant of the fact that people will know I'm missing and will be dusting for my prints
Everywhere. Yeah.
Like when I have to like try to steal something and they go, oh, we'll dust the place. Like, and I couldn't even steal from a store. I'd have to like burglarize a home. Because if I stole like a can of cherry Pepsi from the store, like the 7-Eleven, no cop is going to be like, dust for prints.
And I don't even remember stuff my
Thomas
dad did
says, I
for
get
us.
they're trying to get background on him, but it comes off like local cops' first time with predators. They're like, so you'd say you like girls, like small girls, like 15, smaller? What?
That's what I'm saying. Like these, it's one, and maybe I don't want to denigrate their skills because maybe they're good cops. I don't know them. I know Catherine Reed's probably not a good cop, interrogation wise, but it just feels like this is one of those situations where like Levi just vomited a bunch of, this is the worst metaphor in the world, right? Because like, what is good to a cop? It's like treasure, but it's like disgusting information about being a pedo. But like, imagine this is going to be a bizarre scenario, but like you live in Middle Earth and like you're in Hobbit Town and you catch a giant toad and it just barfs a bunch of gold into your lap, right? You go, I got you, you giant toad. I'm going to bring you home and do whatever we do in Middle Earth with giant toads. And it goes, "Whoa," and just vomits a bunch of gold coins out into your lap. And you go, whoa! Like, you'd shit your pants. You wouldn't know how to spend it or where to spend it or how quickly. You'd be just blown away, right? And so that's what I feel like, is like these detectives are some sort of elves that are disconnected from excitement, but have come into contact with someone who is giving them everything they've ever wanted.
Right. Yeah.
Like, this is treasure and elven blades with runes that do magical shit. And, like, I can see it happen to my son. When he gets overstimulated and excited, he just melts down and loses all control of himself and
Everything.
and his ties to reality.
Yeah.
And, you know, as adults, we have a little more control. We can hide our excitement. But it does feel like that these people are like, okay, yeah, tell me this, tell me that, blah, blah, blah.
Tell me more.
Like, there's no dance. Like, they're not tangling. This isn't a deadly game of cat and mouse where, like, at the end they go, well, I did get you. He's just like, yeah, I like disgusting shit. And they're like, cool, yay! Like, this is so fun. Like, oh, what to ask you next?
Right.
So you come off as, I mean, it kind of feels like all parties involved are a little slower than they should be, but whatever. Maybe there's a gas leak. Maybe it's the excitement. I don't know.
Maybe gas leak, maybe. Your Honor, I'd ask your indulgence as I explain what's come to be called the Middle Earth Toad and runes that do magical shit theory. And here we go.
And he was
There's
around. I
gold.
don't even remember if he worked. I don't remember if he was staying drinking or what. But I don't really know my childhood too much.
I lost my ties with reality years ago. 11 out of 10 would recommend.
Right, but that's the thing. It's like taking mushrooms. People will tell you, if you take mushrooms and you're in the right mindset, you'll feel great. And if you're not, it'll be a 4-hour trip to hell.
Right.
I've never taken mushrooms, so I'm speaking out of my ass of people who've told me they've taken mushrooms.
I believe it, though.
But that's the thing. How do you have to, I don't want to talk about taking mushrooms, but I feel like I would have to really kickflip my life to like take mushrooms and feel positive about shit.
She was always there for us and everything, try to help me. And my sister too, my oldest sister, not the...
P.S. Thomas, it's like if it doesn't fit, you must have quit theory. It's like Chewbacca from the planet Kashyyyk.
She's older than me, but the younger one, I don't even talk to her.
Ricky?
Yeah.
You talk to Ricky or you don't?
I don't.
Okay.
I haven't talked to her like probably 2 years.
Okay, and Christy,
Yeah, I just talked to her the other day.
you have a good relationship with
Yeah.
Christy,
Great.
but not with Ricky.
Yeah.
And then, are you angry with your mother for any reason?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So, are you angry with your father?
Yeah.
You hate him?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember anything about him. We don't talk. You know,
But
like
I
your
hate him.
father? Yeah. You hate him? Yeah.
He is?
I don't like how he treated my sisters.
Okay.
Like, I think he abused them. I don't know sexually, but I'm pretty sure he abused them, treated them like shit, like threw the stuff around the room, whatever, and didn't let them hang out with people and everything. But then he gave me and my brother, like, he gave us stuff and treated us better than them. I don't know why he would treat us better than them. That, like this.
This is another part of... It's not even like a willful lie, I think. It's like when he's like, I don't remember anything about my father or being a child. But then to launch into like, when I was a kid, he treated my sisters like shit, but he treated me and my brother a certain way. Doesn't it? I mean, now with the benefit of hindsight, we know they were horrifyingly abused. Doesn't it feel like he was sort of love bombing? I hate that term, but does it feel like when you horrifyingly abuse someone to the point of like psychological trauma, like a trip to Toys R Us is probably water off a duck's back.
Mm-hmm.
Like pisses me off toward him. Like he would treat them like that, but not us.
Right, so you think it was a boy-girl thing?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to treat my boys great and treat my girls like crap?
All right, so let's double down on this psychology thing. This sort of lends credence to the theory before, where I was unwilling to buy the theory, but we've got an augmentation here. Abuse from the same sex to same sex. You go, well, okay. I go, well, maybe not. If we're going to double down and say like the sisters are an augmentation here, it does feel definitely like
It's like getting back at them.
Right, but they were the ones who were not treated as well.
In his eyes, they were not. But if he remembers, or if he was told that they were him and his brother were like lavished with things, then maybe.
But he said he remembers it. Like, that's the thing.
Right.
Maybe we are going back to Middle Earth here. Maybe his dad is Smaug.
So that might be one of the things.
I don't know why, and not for nothing. I just want to really quick. Now
Really
that we're
quick,
talking
here's
about
the thing.
Hobbit. I had the animated Rankin Bass Hobbit on VHS, and I'm pretty sure I got it on DVD. And I don't know why, but like Facebook and all my social medias are like, "Hey, remember being horrified into oblivion when you were a child?" And I go, "Hey, yeah."
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I would like to watch that old Hobbit movie because I think I have it on DVD, and the tug is pretty strong. It's not as strong as like an Ernest Goes to Jail tug or an Ernest Scared Stupid tug. Still can't find that DVD. But something about it makes me go like, yeah, I could really relive a childhood trauma by watching The Hobbit again.
I don't think I ever saw it.
It's a girl. Something, I don't know.
Because maybe he's had
It's akin to like The Last Unicorn in that like it's a cartoon, but at some points they go, well, like if some harrowing situations where you go like, whoa, that was so close, and as an adult you go like, they would have been dead.
have a little bit of that. A little bit of your dad and you,
Yeah.
is what you're trying to say? Is that right, you think?
Probably.
Okay.
Father,
And does
son.
that make you mad?
Yeah. Well,
Are you glad we came into your house today?
kind of, yeah.
Why?
Because I needed help and I didn't really know how else to get it besides
Yeah,
Never ending story.
I'll buy that too. Same sort of concept going on.
getting arrested, and I guess it happened.
But like, the Neverending Story was a different sort of trauma, I want to say, because like with the animated stuff like Secret of Nim or The Last Unicorn or The Hobbit or any of those ones where it's like an animated thing where you go, oh my God, I'm just being horrified on like a visceral, horrifying level. Like I'm not. What I'm saying is like the Neverending Story had a little bit of a, you know, I was a child at the time, but still I was in the know. Like the childlike empress, there was just enough like weird stuff that made me feel traumatized, but also intrigued sexually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like watching really quick, watching Transylvania 65000. I like the comedy aspect, but there was something more because Gina Davis's tits were off the chain, right?
Thomas says, for me, it was Land Before Time. The mom
Bingo.
dinosaur dies slowly and has last words for Littlefoot. And the whole time I'm like, the fuck do you mean moms die at 8?
Right. She gets like bit in the neck once and like Sharptooth gets pushed. Like, it's, yeah. I can't believe, like, and P.S., like, The Land Before Time is up to like 14 sequels. You can get all 14 discs at Walmart for like 8 cents.
Right. And we watched, it's not like the Arlo.
I was a child, Thomas. Hold on, I have to address his allegations. Yeah, the childlike empress intrigued me sexually when I was a child. I figured we were like the same age. When I saw The Neverending Story, I was probably between the ages of 6 and 10. And I go, you know, I don't know what I would do in that situation because I had no idea how the mechanics worked, but my balls were there. Something was telling me I enjoyed this aspect of the movie, but the rest of it was fucking horrifying.
Yeah, and there's a movie, a dinosaur movie called, was it Arlo? Arlo is the one, we've watched it I don't know how many times, but like, they're all brachiosauruses or whatever, and the dad dies while they're out looking for the little human, like caveman baby. And like it was just traumatizing.
That
For me.
happens literally to this day. Like, Disney has been killing parents for 100 years.
Yeah.
Like, one of my, I don't want to say it's my favorite movies, but like, I was trying to get my son off of Cars and onto something else. We started watching The Good Dinosaur, which
That's what it was. Yeah, The Good
almost
Dinosaur.
took, but didn't. Okay, there you go. Arlo.
Yeah. Arlo was the baby. Was the boy? The little
I thought it was Har. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Arlo.
Yeah, moral of the story is they're constantly killing off parents, and like, I get the lesson. Like, they all come out stronger in the end, and it's. But like.
But then Arlo's missing with this little caveman baby.
Right, but think of it like this, because like, in a movie, after like. Imagine in a normal situation, just a family of humans, 5 humans, 3 children, 2 adults.
Yep.
The dad dies. You go, well, that's a fucking cataclysm right there. But then one of the kids runs off into the wilderness and disappears.
Yeah.
Because of that.
And you think they're dead too.
Fucking traumatic. And then they come back after you've just given them up for dead. And like, how do you put even if you're just a dinosaur, how do you put your fucking life together?
Right.
And then Arlo has to say goodbye to that little cave boy who's going to go live with the other humans, which, realistically is a good decision, because what is a dinosaur going to teach a human?
Yeah, how is that?
But in the grand scheme of things, I realize it doesn't matter. But fucking, like, when at the all is lost moment, when the pterodactyls have absconded with the
little
what
baby,
does he call me? He calls him Spot or something.
Spot, yeah.
And you go, all is lost, and then that fucking dinosaur's ghost dad shows up.
Seriously.
And like, it's not even like it's not even like a dream where you go, oh, it was all a dream. Like, he looks at, like, there's no footprints in the mud. If you've seen it, you've seen it. I don't want to get into it because it's fucking sad.
Yes, it
But
is.
this is nothing like that. I don't know.
Thomas says, I'm lucky I was already a man when I saw Neverending Story, so the Atrax or whatever dying was more of a, yep, shit's gonna happen. You take a horse into the swamps, son. It should have brought a Ford for me.
Right. As an adult, it's much easier to deal with, right? Because you go, oh, well, it's just a movie. That horse is not dead. Everything is fine.
Well, yeah, like, so my mom had our son for a sleepover, and she was like, we put The Fox and the Hound on, and he's never seen it before. And I'm like, so you're going to watch a movie that traumatized me as a kid?
But that's the thing. You have to, maybe I'm underestimating, but I don't think he's, you have to look at the person involved, right? Because I don't think before a certain aspect of development, I don't think you would look at something and be horrified by it. Because I wasn't necessarily horrified by The Secret of Nim as a young child, because I was like, oh, it's a little weird. But as I matured, and since we had it on VHS and you could watch it all the time, I sort of ingratiated myself to horrification. Same thing with, like, if I just saw The Last Unicorn once, right? Mm-hmm. It was in the theaters, and I go, whoa, The Last Unicorn. That was a little weird. Soundtrack by America. The giant harpy with the huge saggy tits was a little weird, but that'll fade from my memory. Overall, a positive experience, because I'm going to remember the talking cat, the hilarious skeleton, the wizard, the helpful hag, and the actual unicorn. But since it was on VHS, rather, I got to see, like, and really internalize the strange perversion of the old man, the bizarre nature of just the concept of it is like fucking strange. And again, I saw those fucking harpy tits day after day, and I go, what the whose idea was that?
Thomas says, I'd rather put Schindler's List on for a kid than these movies. It'd be less scarring.
I'm saying, because then you go like, because like nothing in Schindler's List is probably as horrifying as a giant bird who speaks through telepathy to a unicorn with these huge, like, featherless, saggy human boobs, who then just murders their prisoner, their jailer, I should say. They're the prisoner. But like, this old lady is like, I know this bird's gonna break out and kill me with her huge saggy cans, and then you get to see it and you go, holy fuck.
It just scares the hell out of me.
Rightfully
if
so.
You and your brother were driving down the street and say, hey, maybe we can get that.
Yeah.
And seeing a little girl, that scares me. But at the
It
same
scares
time,
society.
I think God sent us to your house, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Guess I don't know.
Praise Jesus.
I hate when people invoke God. Like it's at any point in the true crime or the criminal justice process, don't bring up God, because it just begs the question, right? Like, hey, God sent us to you to stop you from doing the thing. Like, God was okay with you enjoying the subjugation of minors on a sexual level.
Until now.
But he finally had enough. Nice one, God. You allowed just enough. That's bad, right? Because they essentially prevented an actual victim or a new victim, because obviously the people in the CP are not willing, hopefully. But, like, it's worse at the end, right? When they go, thank you, God, for helping the police find the person who brutalized our relative. And they went through hours, days, weeks of torture.
Right. I don't know why
And
you
that's
didn't
the
go
time
before,
you go,
but
hey, God, nice one. I realize you were probably busy when the perpetrator snatched my family member, and again, your back was probably turned the whole 3 weeks. They were being tortured, living through hell. But
I'm going to pour one out for you now.
yeah, now it was a cold case. I'm the last living relative. It was my great great aunt. But thanks, God, you really delivered after everyone who gave a single fuck, like legitimately, because we knew them on a personal level, is dead. Thank you, Jesus. Do you think anybody ever has ordered something from Amazon with that 2-day delivery promise, right? And then their packages received 15 and a half years later, right? Like, you totally forgot you bought that egg slicer in 2002. And here it is, 2024. And Amazon's like, sorry about that shit, y'all. Here's that egg slicer you ordered. Like, would you drop to your knees and be like, thank y'all, Jesus, for remembering my order from 22 fucking years ago? I mean, sure, you probably had a real busy couple of decades, but you got around to it. You holy motherfucker.
We would ever actually act on it or not, but
the thoughts sometimes come in reality.
yeah.
And what we see is that when people watch child porn, and
This is the thing. I'm not taking a swipe at religion. It just feels stupid, right? Don't. Like, if it were a quick turnaround time, I'd be like, yeah, thanks, God, you were on the... But, like, put a person in God's position. Like, right? Like, if a 1 gallon container of apple juice falls over and just starts spilling all over your floor, and God is now just a dude with a mop, and you go, hey, check that shit out. It spilled. And he ran over immediately and was like, dude, thank God you were there. Maybe you couldn't have stopped the apple juice. Probably could have. He was standing there the whole time with a mop. But, like, imagine if you waited until the apple juice had dried, become a sticky residue, and had been completely consumed by bacteria, leaving nothing but a vague outline of what it once was. And the dude springs into gear and he goes, whoa! With that mop. And you go, whoa! Praise Jesus. You remembered to mop the floor 40 years after that apple juice spilled. You know what I'm saying?
Like Marty getting Doc's telegram at the end of Back to the Future 2. Okay, but there are those times something arrives at your door and you're like, oh shit, I forgot I ordered this. Cool. So maybe it's like that. Breaking news, FFOP radio comes out against God, calls the faithful gay groups.
Listen, I'm not saying, like, you wouldn't be pleasantly surprised, but, like, we're not... That's the thing. Here's the... Maybe that was a bad metaphor, right? The egg slicer was a bad metaphor.
Versus, like, a murdered...
Right, because here's the thing. Maybe you live on a farm where you produce nothing but eggs, and your job is to slice eggs 1/4 of an inch slices, right? And so you, in 2002, you order the slicer, and you go, God damn, this is going to make my life so much easier. I'll be able to throw away this rusty old knife. It will be a godsend.
Even cuts.
Right. And then this is over 20 years. You go, woo, thank you, God, for giving me 20 years of waiting for something that should have been instant.
Isn't suffrage like a thing?
Suffrage is women getting the right to vote.
Well,
So Yeah, that is a thing. Yes. It's like a lot like Gary Busey, if you will.
And as it gets more violent and violent and violent.
Suffrage is a thing, guys. If anyone says it isn't, tell them it is. If a woman says, hey, I was turned away from voting today, you say, hey, good news. 1920s, it happened. You got suffrage. Right to vote, suffrage is nuts, y'all.
None of that does anything for you anymore, so you want to act out on it. Now, whether it's acting out of molesting a niece, molesting your sister, or kidnapping and molesting a girl right off the street, this rage, that's what child porn generates.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
Have you
I would, here's the thing. It feels like a chicken and the egg scenario. I would argue the opposite, though, however. Because, like, if he's saying, hey, man, you get snagged by the lure and the hook of CP, it builds rage. I would say if you go out looking for CP, you got a little rage already. Right? Like, I'm not, here's the thing. I'm not going to go look for CP. But if I did go looking for it and I were cognizant of what I was doing, I'd be like, yeah, I'm doing this for a reason, right?
Right. It didn't just fall into his lap. He had to find it somewhere.
It might build rage if you connect it to the abuse you suffered, but by and large, people aren't just going to like fly off the deep end and do something horribly, morally, ethically, and lawfully against what we all basically decide is the wrong thing to do. Like, hey, I get it. You know, one day you're scrolling through Instagram, the next day you're slamming hardcore, illegal, illicit material. I don't get that. I mean, you have to say that as a cop because you want them to say, well, like, yeah, that's how it happened. One day I was like looking at lemon meringue pie recipes, and the next day I was watching just people ruin generations of families. Yeah, that's how it happens. First, you're fixing a gutter, and the next you're perpetrating horrifying atrocities.
Have you ever touched a kid?
No.
Have you ever had access to touch a kid?
I have, but I can't even do anything about it.
If you were alone with a kid and you didn't think anybody would ever find out, do you think you would do it?
I don't know.
I get it.
You don't know because you've never.
But here's the thing. I don't want to get into the whole like pie conversation because I'm not a pie fan. I would say key lime is better than lemon. I don't want to get into it. I think the key lime is a superior citrus fruit. End of story.
You've never been in that position? Okay.
Well, let's be talking about Myers lemons, in which case...
Anything else you want to say to us?
Is there anything that you can tell us that might be able to help us or have us help
Pretty
you?
much
Or
everything
help
I told
you.
guys that I can think of.
And how, I know you just got out of the hospital too, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
I was just feeling a little depressed because of the weather and everything. Just went.
Because of the weather and everything. Dude with the face tattoos got sad. Seasonal affective disorder.
Better to get away from people in society because we don't hang around people in this area because we don't like them.
Do you have any friends?
No, not at all.
No.
We have like 2 friends that we barely even see. Like when we just say hey once in a while, whatever, talk to them.
Him and his brother are really close.
Right, but this is a concept that's impossible to impress upon someone without, like, I don't know what level of self-awareness you need to have for this to be a thing. But, like, maybe it's a force of will, maybe it's intellect, I don't know. But if you look at the group of people you hang around with, I would hope that you would at some point be like, okay, I've become insulated. I do this every once in a while because I get into these little cliques that do certain things, whether it regards to meat or any other thing. And you sort of get insulated and you start towing the party line. And every once in a while, I got to shake that shit off and go like, well, why is like on a pop cultural level, right? Like culturally, bass players are a joke. Drummers are less of a joke, but mostly bass players. And why? Because everybody's towing the party line. No one wants to follow up and be like, what's up with that? That's not a grand scheme. That's not like really hurting anybody. Mm-hmm. Here, we got two people bouncing ideas back and forth to one another, and each not really having any context of reality, because when it's just the two of you and not a third sane person who's connected to society at large, who goes, hey, guys, turns out most humans think that what you do is fucking disgusting.
Right.
But there was only two of them, and since they hated everybody else, there was never any point to even consider what they were doing was gross. Because both of them were into it.
Right.
Like, you need that person in your friend group, and not sometimes, a lot of the times, I was the one throwing cold water into the situation because I saw people blowing smoke into each other's asses, and I go, that's not going to work. Because I don't want to see someone get insulated, whether it's something as harmless as fingerboarding in junior high, which I was into, or as like committing horrifying crimes in a van that you have a car seat in and you don't have a child.
Yeah. Thomas says, can you fucking imagine a scenario where a cop asks, would you ever touch a child? And you respond, I don't know. If they caught me touching a kid, my response would be, never, officer.
Seriously? Yeah. But that's one of the elements about this interrogation that makes it so intriguing to me, is the whole apathy aspect.
Right. He's like so matter of fact, like, yes, no, yeah.
Like, this is like, if I showed you a picture of this interrogation as is, like, you look at this, I say, what's going on here? You go, these two detectives are trying to get something out of this dude, and he is stonewalling them.
Right.
Because he's got the confidence of the open legs, which is like, whatever. If you want to get into like human psychology on this level, when you're scared, you protect your genitals. Mm-hmm. So the confidence move of the exposing of the genitals of this man, coupled with the I ain't saying shit arm cross, and then with a healthy dose of the icing of a face tattoo, you'd be like, whoa, this dude is not saying shit because he knows his way around law enforcement. But then here we are in reality where he's like, denying the first question, but by the time the second question is halfway out of her mouth, he's like, yeah. First one was a lie.
Yeah.
Next.
Oh, he said that? Oh, yeah.
Walk away.
So you don't really have any friends other than your brother?
Yeah.
He's pretty much your only friend, right?
Yeah.
Good luck, pigs.
Yeah.
My genitals are exposed for all to see. The confidence of the genitalia is second to none, right? I don't even think Colonel Russell Williams exposed his genitals this much. He was a colonel.
And I mean, he creates this facade that he has kids, but he really doesn't have any kids.
I don't know if he has any kids or not, yeah.
But you've
Why-
never seen them
No.
in person. Okay, but he wants
Do you think one of the McPoyles wouldn't know if one of the other ones has a kid?
people
Right.
to think he's normal.
Yeah.
And you want people to think you're normal, too.
I don't really care if people think I'm normal or not.
Look at my
You don't?
face.
No.
Do you, and that's another thing your brother said, he believes that you don't care.
Right, that was the thing you would just say because it was like a human thing that you would expect. But I wouldn't say that. Like, you want to be normal too, right, dude? I mean, does it need to be said any further?
About anybody and about anything.
I don't care about myself, I care about my family.
You do care about your
Yeah.
family. So you
Which
have
is
feelings
who?
for your
Yeah.
family. You love your family?
Mhm.
Okay. And then, but you don't care about that little girl.
Like, not the dad, not the mom, but like the uncle and the brother.
No, he loves his mom. He loves his one sister and his brother. His other sister he doesn't talk to, and his dad he hates.
Right, but that's the thing. Like, with so few people in the like column versus the dislike column, I don't tell people I love my family because there are so many of them and I don't love a lot of them. But that's like a numbers game, right? But like, I've got a large family and there's cousins all over the place. I love some of them. Some of them, I'm not going to take or leave. But it'd be like, hey, man, I love my family. But just the ones who haven't molested me or crossed me in any way or the ones I like create conspiracies about kidnapping with. Like, yeah, I love my family. It feels like Cyrax, right? Like, you know, my family, like when it's just Sally and Ed and you tell Sally to fuck off and Ed punches you in the face, like, what is the my family that you're protecting, right?
Man, you went an hour
But
and
she was
45 minutes without mentioning lol cows. Because Fosco's not here.
Cyrax,
You feel differently?
Yeah.
I was emailing Fosco earlier today about that lawyer who got addicted to drugs. God damn it, he brought him up, but like, whoa, not the right type of lolcow for me, because he was like a normal person who became a lolcow because of perversion, alcohol, and drugs. Cyrax and King Cobra JFS, born, bred, AKC papered lolcows from birth.
Yeah.
Wasn't even the lawyer. What's his fucking name? I wish Roscoe were here.
Okay.
Who are you,
That's fair.
Skeletor?
I'm just trying to
Who
get in your
haven't
head,
crossed
I don't know.
me?
So after you had your stay at the hospital, do you feel better?
Skeletor.
Somewhat, yeah.
Does that help you?
I just, not for nothing, I gotta bring this up because sometimes we talk about commercials. I just watched a commercial where, like, it blew my fucking mind because I was never a He-Man fan. Maybe this is something everybody knows. But it was a, Master of the Universe commercial where, like, Skeletor is fucking around in Castle whatever when, like, some other evil dude shows up and, like, Skeletor pussies out immediately. I was like, this is your plan to sell toys? Like, there's some triumvirate of evil where they have, hairy looking weirdos and like, I'm taking over. And Skeletor's like, smell you later. It's like, Hordak. Yeah, thank you. And his like Legion of Doom or his like triumvirate of evil. I was like, I can't believe this commercial. Like, I'm being crazy enough to have like a dude with huge muscles and thighs the size of like 7 Christmas hams crammed into a pant leg. He's got a skull for a head. And then these dudes show up and they go, oh, fuck you, Skeletor. I bought 3 dudes. Skeletor's got a castle and an army of fucking henchmen. And he goes,
It was Skeletor's master.
oh, is that it? See, that's the thing. That's the thing. It might have
know
made
He-Man.
sense. It might have made sense to people of the time. But watching it as an adult, I go like, what the because I always thought that Skeletor was king shit. You're going to bring up G.I. Joe shit. I never watched G.I. Joe. You want to talk TMNT lore? We'll go all day. Maybe even a little reboot, but G.I. Joe, off the radar, Master of the Universe. Again, not gay, but appreciate the idea.
Help you, or does it it's just?
It helps, yeah.
Is it? Do you think it's just getting away and getting out of your house?
Yeah.
That helps?
Yeah.
Do you feel safe in your house?
Yeah, I do.
You do.
Mm-hmm. Except for the neighborhood, somewhat, but yeah. Like, because there's people walking in our yard. But my dad said, I don't remember the exact story or something. Somebody, like, was breaking car windows at the bar across the street.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy came in our yard, and I think he had a gun or something. And we said if anyone comes in our yard like that me and my brother are going to do something and defend our house. And my mom and dad said, just leave it alone.
Like, quick, this is another, I don't know if it's like a running gag, but it's like something that comes up a lot. So maybe it's part of the genre. Oftentimes in these interrogations, when someone like this dude is stupid or whatever, just trying to deflect, they'll bring up people in their family, people in the neighborhood who are like threats or whatever. They go, well, I got robbed, or there was a guy in my neighborhood with a gun, and this, and that, and the other. It has nothing to do with what you did. Like, right? There's no justification for a dude running into your yard, even if he was grabbing things that you owned or was brandishing a gun or any of that, to be like, yeah, and so that's why I was like really hitting up that CP, right? Because there was a dude in my yard.
But we don't want any, because some people have done that before, like some drunk came in our yard, and
Right.
he was like saying he's FBI or whatever, and my dad told me,
Okay, Thomas, I get what you're putting down. So, I don't know. As a kid, I just couldn't reconcile, and even as an adult, obviously, I can't reconcile with like the pop culturally significant character being like second banana to whoever. It's like if Spenny were the brains. And there was no Kenny versus Spenny, it was just Spenny. And you go, well, I guess. But then Kenny shows up and you go, well, obviously.
he's over there on the phone, he's in the front of the house on the phone with the cops, and me and my brother are over by the guy that could have a gun, and we're calling our dad, and he's not even doing anything. He's not even going over there, he's on the phone, and then he starts getting farther away.
Right.
And then another time, when my brother lived alone in his duplex, his neighbors, like these black.
I mean, who doesn't love Skeletor more? Like, he's the... I don't know. I'm sure there have been bigger villains, more dangerous villains than Khan in the Star Trek universe, but who is more, like, name-droppable? Maybe you could say the Borg, but they're like a whole thing, but I don't want to get into Star Trek.
Black people came over phoned and everything, seeing if someone lived there, because they didn't know. And then we didn't know if they had guns or whatever, and I had a knife because just to defend myself and my brother. And I was like that, getting ready to take it out because I don't want they're going to just run in the house. I couldn't even see their faces.
Right.
And we go in the garage, and my dad's in there, and he's like cowering behind. There was like a little fence thing, like a railing, and he's in there cowering.
So
And I wasn't cowering. I was getting out of the car. He's just out for himself. And
you think your dad's a coward?
Yeah, he is a coward.
Because he won't
And like with the
protect
house, with the dog, we tell him to clean the dog shit every day, every other day. And when someone else tells him to do it, like if the cable guy comes over, then if we tell him the cable guy's coming over, then he'll clean it because someone else outside the family sees it.
But he doesn't.
It's so bizarre what people think is pertinent information in different situations, right? Because if someone, I'm not gonna say that. Like, let's say that I'm this dude and I did all that shit because I don't even want to put myself in that situation hypothetically. But let's say I'm being accused of these crimes, where like I'm being railroaded or whatever. I wouldn't take minutes to digress and be like, yeah, one time my dad was hiding in the garage. What a piece of shit. Like, dude, you're being accused of shit that will get, like, some dudes check into a prison cell and don't make it the night with the shit that you've done.
Right.
I wouldn't be like, yeah, my dad was a real pussy. Like, what? Like, not even on the radar, dude.
He doesn't care about you
He doesn't
guys.
care about us, no.
And that's what angers you, right? You think is that what drives your anger?
Yeah.
Because you said
Totally.
your dad
Really
doesn't
big part of it, yeah.
give two shits about you.
Yeah.
Probably.
He cares more about strangers than he does us,
That's
the
sad.
family. And Levi did the same thing. He did.
Finally, something we can
Jeez,
come together on.
yeah.
Like, I don't have to lie about that and then, flimsily be like, oh, he said that?
All
yeah,
right.
it's true.
Then he goes to the dog in the kitchen, saying he's going to clean the basement, and the dog shits in the kitchen. And then it doesn't even happen. And I just put the dog back in the basement. There's no point in arguing. I'm not going to let him shit in another room and get it dirty because I'm just going to cook food in there. Yeah. Then he cleans the dog shit up, puts it in a bag, and I'm sitting there cooking food, and I pick the bag up like, what the hell is this? And there's dog shit in there. And I'm about to eat. I don't want to see that. So it just, like,
Part of this interrogation feels like, and if you're old enough, you'll know, but if you're too young, you won't. But I feel like all of our viewers are old enough. Like when you put a tape in your VCR to record something on TV, but it's a sketchy tape, but it's the only one you got, and like it drops it. Like I remember I tried to record like Hot August Nights, right? Because I loved cars and shit, like the fancy shit. And Hot August Nights was the way to go. And like something was wrong with the cassette. So sometimes they would just like drop 10 minutes or 20 minutes. So like it was just a bunch of disparate information. And that's what this kind of feels like.
It's talking about dad with the dog poop.
And that's not unusual for interrogations. Like they'll try to deflate the puffing of an ego or the anger or whatever by like digressing to like, so do you like tacos or whatever, something stupid to break the tension. But it just feels like nothing really matters. We're just going through it, and like anything he wants to talk about, they'll entertain.
Well, yeah, because like, what else? I mean, he's already admitted everything, and they're like, "Well, it's good that we came, right?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Right, but it's just like I don't know, maybe this interrogation is more like a C's candy sampler platter, where like all the chocolates are identical looking.
Yeah.
You just don't know whether the next bite is going to be like some disgusting maple walnut bullshit or like caramel.
like me, mostly him. I guess that's just pissing me off about everything.
Right. And so when you go to stay in the hospital for a week, you kind of get away from all that dumb shit. And it's kind of a nice break.
I get home and it comes right back because I'm not used to it.
Right.
I'm not really used to it, the smell or whatever.
And then your anger starts to come back.
Again, I'm going to double down on the nurture, because if you go to a home that's toxic, the nurture is going to be the biggest.
Yeah.
No matter how much you can escape to the library or to school or to wherever that isn't toxic, the nurture is going to be, you know, a vial of poison.
We take care of our cats. Yeah, those dogs needed to be taken away. Yeah. Because the little one, he bit my mom's face one time out of nowhere. And then she was saying she's going to get him put to sleep, and she threw him in the basement for a week. And then she's saying, oh, I'm going to put him to sleep tomorrow.
Is that her started?
No, that's from a car accident many years ago.
Okay.
He just like bit her and drew a little bit of blood.
Okay.
And she said she'll get him put to sleep. And then she said, oh, he was...
Border collie?
Yeah. Then she makes an excuse. He wasn't feeling good that day. He was sick or some bullshit. And she just kept him in the basement after that.
And didn't feed him and just...
I don't know. They feed him once in a while, but me and my brother go down there and feed him.
Try to take care of
him, yeah.
But it's kind of a joke.
Yeah.
It's happened to Matt. But isn't it bizarre now that, like, I don't know, man. Because as humans, you expect to be consistent, right? Like if you talk to someone like really, but that's the thing. Anybody worth their salt who's had any experience with humans goes like, you can't really draw like paint in broad strokes like that. Because I've known a million animal rights activists who are just shitty people to other humans.
Right.
And so that's what's so weird about this part of the interrogation where the dude's like, yeah, we're looking to snatch up a girl into our van and do horrifying things to her. But he's like, yeah, those people don't take care of their dogs, right? Like, I'm about to call the ASPCA because they're abusing dogs. All right, family, got the keys to the Aerostar, going out with Levi. We're going to go snatch a kid off the streets and possibly strangle a woman to death on a street corner.
Better feed those dogs.
There's dog poop down there. Clean it up before I'm back from my murder. Dude. What the fuck, dude?
Beautiful dogs.
I know. They paid over a couple $1,000 for a dog. I don't know why the hell they were just sticking in the basement. I think they paid like over $3,000. They got a flight for it.
This part is a little weird because on what planet does like the family that this dude sprouted from have $3,000 for a dog?
Right.
Dog poop back there.
This is starving.
Who sleeps on
Put it in
the
that bag.
Me.
Yeah, so you don't even have a mattress.
Yeah, I'm used to sleeping on stuff like that, though. I don't feel comfortable on the bed.
Oh, okay. So that's your choice.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's a tiny little room,
Yeah.
too. So you get along with Christy, you don't get along with Ricky.
Yeah.
Ricky ever do anything to you, your kid?
I don't remember if she did, but I know she did do something to my brother because he told me.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure he told you.
That sort of feels like a lie. I don't know. I want to say it's like 50, maybe 50% lie, 50% the truth. Because maybe it was something like he blocked it out, but to be like, yeah, I know that it happened to my brother. Like, but I don't remember if it happened to me, but it definitely happened to him.
Right.
Not to bring up lol cows again, but like deflection's a big thing. Like Cyrax will shout at Marty or any other troll and be like, you're a blah, 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 run down the list of all the things that he is and has been accused of for the past 7 years, Marty.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a low energy and low effort version of that, where it's like you're not necessarily getting mad and telling your trolls they're the things that you are. You're like looking down and feeling sorry for the person that you're telling them the things that you are about them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fuck, dude. I think it's so the crime is horrifying. The plan is absolutely degenerate and insane. But even by like at the lowest like possible credit given to his story, it's still like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
say, well, other people in this situation didn't snap, but like, I mean, no one ever thinks about putting yourself in that situation where other people have gone through worse and not murdered. But put yourself in that situation. Be like, hey, like even as an adult now, like you're not going to rewrite history. Just be like, hey, this dude probably put up with 20 years of abuse from physical to mental and sexual and anywhere in between.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, other people did it. Doesn't that feel a little disingenuous when like people who are pro-lifers and you go, well, abortion is against God, right? I don't want to bring up God again, but like whatever your justification may be, like keep the baby, don't terminate the pregnancy. Don't you want to be like, well, how many of these children have you adopted? The answer is always none. but it's always something they tell you can do.
Right. It's an option.
Right. So open your mouth, and if money doesn't fall out, I don't want to fucking talk to you. Right?
Yeah. I'm already going to have a crime scene to clean up. I don't want to have to come home and clean up dog poop on top of that.
Seriously,
Jeez.
that stuff stinks, and the body won't start to smell for like 3 days.
He talked to the guards and admins, got commissary soup, wrote shit all day long in his notebook.
For sure.
Might solve a mystery or rewrite history.
DuckTales. Woo!
Yeah, he did. He told me. I just didn't know if anything happened to you too. So, and everything that you told us today, you've been honest.
The moral of the story is like spend 5 minutes in his fucking shoes dealing with the abuse he dealt with for years, and you'll probably want to kill someone. But
Right.
it's so easy to sit back with our comfy little chairs here and all of our goofy shit behind us and go like, well, other people. Right. This dude is other people. The people who didn't kill people are other people. Don't be like, well, fuck you, because I haven't dealt with it, but other people who have hadn't done what you did. It's a little sanctimonious. I'm not saying like it's wrong, but like you sound like an asshole a little bit.
Honest about.
Yeah.
And then I just want to ask you about your tattoos because your mom talked about that.
Yeah,
She said that she was upset that you did that to your face.
yeah.
Why did you do that?
Because I just like the whole tribal look and like my ancestors from my dad's side
Okay.
are like Maori and Indian and stuff. And I just like the design.
Okay.
And like this one's not like, oh, it is from Star Wars, but I just thought it would go with it.
Oh, okay.
It's from Star
But
Wars.
She told me that you did that because you told her that you hated yourself.
Well,
Is
that
true?
too.
Did you tell her that?
Right. So is it because your dad's Maori and Indian or whatever the fuck? Like what that great explanation, like what a tie to your lineage, right? Like my dad's Maori or Indian or some other fucking shit, and I liked it. Plus Star Wars, right? Because Darth Maul.
Because why not?
This is right about the time. He's the right age to be like, yeah, Darth Maul was fucking cool.
How are they seeing him with those camo pants on?
Well, that's the beautiful thing. Is from the waist up, he's wearing one of those.
Like a windbreaker.
It's not a windbreaker. I own one of them. It's one of those like Baja, like stoner hoodies that's made out of like super thick, like Mexican blanket material.
Oh, that's what that is?
Yeah.
Got it.
It's like that Rasta inspired sort of Gulf of Mexico hoodie that like, so yeah, they can totally see him from the waist up, so they're not scared.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, his head.
I probably did. I don't know.
Okay. You don't remember?
No.
Okay. But that's not why you really did it.
No.
You did it because you
Because I
loved it.
like the look and
And you like it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's the only other thing I had.
okay.
Why does
Thanks,
that have
Rob.
anything to do with the things that they have
I
arrested
wish
him
you
for?
luck, buddy. I hope you get better.
See, you're going to jail for.
The whole
Probably a
two-hand
short amount of
shakes, they
time.
Give him a pat on the shoulder and like, hey man,
I imagine he probably wasn't in jail for that long, realistically.
I don't know. I can't say. I hope he was in there for a long time, but it's impossible because I didn't look it up. You can
What's
call me
his name? Andrew what?
Castro.
Castro.
This is part of the interrogation I unnecessarily connect to because I'm not. Maybe I am a monster, but at least in this situation, when they start connecting on a personal level, I identify. Because if I were in that situation where I'm a detective, right, I have enough interest in people that, like, when I tell someone, I hope you this or I hope this or that, and I take a genuine interest in you, I do. I don't tell people, like, hey, good luck or fucking nice work or you're doing great.
Right.
If I don't fucking mean it. And a lot of these people, like if I were in these situations, I would, because I do feel like, not this guy necessarily, but there are like Brett, like with his, like with Stiven, the red shirt detective, when he's talking to Brett. And Brett's like crying, he wants to like pray with him or whatever. I feel for that person. Because we all get in situations where we make that bad decisions, regardless of whatever. And you can, like I said, again, hindsight's 20/20. And like the human part of me wants to go like, yeah, but Gail is still dead, right?
Right.
But then there are other ones like Kevin Davis or this douchebag where he's like, you know, I guess I kind of feel like assaulting an unending supply of children victims and just victimizing people so that they can in turn pass that on to the next generation. I go, fuck you, dude. I don't fucking hope you get any better. I hope you get thrown into the system that is the meat grinder. Someone finds out what you did, and you don't make it to the next morning's roll call.
So I'm having a hard time finding what his sentence was. But
It's almost impossible to find pictures of them because there's so many Andrew Castros out there. Thomas says, if I were a cop, I'd never stop apologizing to people, mostly my dad for letting him down in this Grace Care family. Well, that's the thing, though. Part of it, like with John Dudinsky, right? The classic John Dudinsky when he's talking to Dustin McFetridge, when he goes, well, Justin, I wish you the best. I mean, that's hilarious because he doesn't, and he's doing it for comic effect. But like, part of me as a human wants to go, I do hope, because the human, whatever, the elevated part of me that humans consider more valuable than animals, that part of me wants to go like, I do hope, like Sarah Boone, I was hoping that she would have an arc that at the end of her rainbow, she goes, I'm off booze.
Right.
I'm probably annoying now because I found Jesus or whoever. But she makes a turnaround and spends the rest of her life speaking out against wine and luggage, right?
Yes.
You want that, or at least I want that as a human. I want, if they're not completely unreconcilable and just need to be put away and or buried, I want something at the end of that rainbow to be like, yeah, I came from a horrible situation, but even after the suitcase murder, I came out ahead. Right? But they are the wine and
the dangers of wine and luggage.
Right. But that's not what's going to happen. She's on her 8th lawyer, and she's like, please don't be mean to me. I'm having such a hard time. And like the troll is online. So now she's a fucking lol cow.
Well, now it's a lady lawyer. So it seems like it's a little different so far.
It doesn't fucking matter. She's going to be the same horrifying
she's
human
not
being.
going to change.
But I'm still, no matter what, I want, you want the underdog to come out on, not on top, but like with a lesson learned, and you want them to join that cult of crime prevention, right? Where Sarah Boone at the end of this goes like, alcohol is bad and luggage is bad, and when the two meet, you got a problem. Like, she's against drunk driving, but it's like drunk packing, right?
Even if you have a good day, do not use luggage for hide and seek.
It could be a good day. It could be the best day. She'll tell you, I've been in this field a long time. Now's the exact time to have a good day. It'll sneak up on you because of the Boone's farm, ironically.
So I couldn't find his sentencing, but Andrew could face up to 30 years back in 2014, and his brother Levi, who's younger than him, could face up to 7. So they probably got that.
And I don't want to get into this, like open this nut, because there's too much meat in it for this late in the show. But doesn't it feel a little bit like a kick in the dick as a law-abiding citizen? Because, like, CP especially, I imagine all of those involved are not willing participants.
Right.
At the very least, legally. Like, let's say they're warped, they're 8 years old, they're like, I do what I do. Like the kids who smoke cigarettes in third world countries, and you go, well, that's just the culture. Doesn't it feel like, even though you're just like this motherfucker, he's just a dude with face tattoos and an inbred family watching it. It, like, you can say, well, they were downloading it, distributing it, yada, yada, yada. Like, that child is a victim of something horrifying. And I think anyone who partakes of that suffering willingly should suffer the same fate as the person who orchestrated and filmed and edited it. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm a little too, but it doesn't feel that way, right? Like, if you're willing to sit there and watch and be like, oh yeah, like, you should, like, because we do that for murder, right? Like, if you get in a car with someone and they run into a store and shoot 7 people, you in the car acted in concert.
Right.
I think if you're watching that video, you should be charged as acting in concert with the same charges as someone who produced it.
Yeah.
Because you're enjoying the thing. It's not like you drove up to the Amco gas station and it was just going to be a robbery and then the accidental murder happened.
Right.
You are in this whole hog. You didn't drive up to the CP store and have your buddy run in and he comes out with a bunch of VHS tapes, hypothetically, obviously, in the situation, and you go like, what? You didn't bring back just nothing but Trident?
Yeah, right. Thomas, because that's funny, David. I see people like Sarah and Daryl as these horrible creatures that are so evil that the hurting of people isn't their worst feature, but it's their ego and disregard of others. But destitute people who are repeating the cycle, I pity them.
Right. Here's the thing. When you bring up Daryl's one where I don't have any sympathy for.
No.
It's
He's
just
a piece of shit.
But Sarah, to me at least, she walks that line of the poor, destitute cycle of abuse, and like Daryl, where he's like, fuck it, I'm going to cause as much damage as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Like if Sarah somehow suitcased an entire parade, then we'd be talking.
Right. You drive up to the gas station and the CP is playing on those little TV screens on the gas pump, but you're like, come on, the fuck no, and the cops pull up.
Right, like that's what I'm saying. Like it's not something where you can like turn your head and be like accidentally involved in a crime. Like let's say you're one of these idiots who like, yeah, we're just going to scare someone because they owe us money or drugs or because they're a bitch or whatever your justification is. And you go there thinking you're just going to scare them.
Yeah.
And then partake in a 4-hour torture session. Right? Where things are going in and out of asses and like bloodletting happens.
Bloodletting.
And you go, well, I was just here for the scaring. But I stuck around for the 4.5-hour torture and murder session.
If Sarah suitcased an entire parade, the Waukesha PD reported this is the last thing we wanted to happen.
Right. Like, imagine seeing the dude who's like, who's going to take this press conference? And then they go, well, I don't even know where he got the suitcase. Like, special order for sure. We've got detectives looking into it. But, like, that's like natural disaster levels of carnage because of Samsonite. Not that, like, I don't want to get sued. Anyway, thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate you. If you're watching this in the future, what's it like? Has food made it to pill form yet?
Oh.
Probably not.
No.
Or maybe it has. I don't know how long this is
Let us know in the comments.
Put it in the comments if you're eating food in pill form.
If the comments are still available.
Is Daryl still in prison?
Oh.
Is he dead yet? Is it the future?
Did Sarah Boone get convicted yet?
It's still the present. Did Sarah Boone like get her final lawyer and she turned out to be a good person? I don't know. Figure it out. It's the future for you. Good night, everybody. I love you, babies. And we'll see you on the next episode of FFOP Radio.
Spaghetti drop.
I made some spaghetti, but I dropped some sauce on the floor.
Good. And also...
Bye.
See you later.
For the try to
Fistful of Podcasts Radio.